Everyone, and welcome back. It's Amari, your Perpetual Tech Noob, learning more with you. And today, we are setting up for another Noob's build. We're going back to Refactor, my beloved A Letter to Success app, as per Mr. Marcello's tips, right? We're going back to the tip list. Today, what I'm planning on doing is to change the font on the wheel's prizes and to fix the prize boxes on the wheel, right? I don't know if any of you have been able to play this game, especially before I started refactoring. But if you did, especially before I refactored, this was the original wheel. This is how the wheel used to look when I first created the game at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. After I first learned to use React, right? This was the wheel after I started refactoring. As you can see, the font on the dollar amounts has changed. The prize decals have changed too, but they look worse. This was from my phone, as a matter of fact. This is off the live site. This picture was taken from my phone, so you can see that the wheel was out of round. A lot of things was out of whack. But anyway, this is what is going to be today. I'm sure you can all agree it's looking much better. It's looking much better. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get started. All right, everyone. As you can see from that wheel, there was a lot of changes that needed to be made, especially with those prize flags, right? Those prize cards. So first I had to deal with the prize images, right? That airplane was taken from Apple's emojis, right? There's a lot of things that was taken from the internet, right? Including that display podium. I was going to use that yellow car, but when I decided on this podium and the yellow background, I figured it would probably be better in a different color to bring some flair, to make it pop out some more, right? Okay, when it comes to the car decal, evidently that wasn't anything major. I just put one image of the car up, and in the CSS, I made it where that the background image was the podium, right? Okay, and now you can see what I did with the vacation decal, the trip to Jamaica, right? So that was the two decals, right? I needed to take pictures of for the decals. Moving on. That was the prize images. Next thing I worked on was the prize card facades, right? So this is done. Okay, there go one of the prize card facades right there. So prize card facades, I ended up with this, as you can see, I cropped the image, right? Crop the images for my decals. And this one was pretty simple. Just have this background. This background is just a div. Let me just show you. Okay, evidently I was trying a lot of things, but I ended up with this. A div with a width and a height of 0. But then you play around with the borders, right? So what I did was I made the background of the entire body aqua, and then I made this border left and border right aqua as well. You know what? How about this? If I do this, it might be even easier to showcase. You see what I'm saying? And this one, I did a border left, a border right, where that it ends up stretching in. And this one, I made a border top, where as it comes down, it tapers in. But I made it 150 view height so that I could have not a full triangle, but a chopped off one, right? And I also made the overflow hidden so that I don't accidentally scroll up and, you know, make the picture look funny when I'm trying to make these cards. But anyway, put that back how it was. And this makes it easier, seeing that the background is one full color. It makes it easier to crop it out automatic, to do an automatic cropping. All right. Now the word is the entire thing, and the letters, of course, are each individual letter. And the picture, of course, is my decal that I put in the center. Right? And isn't that about it? So with that out of the way, that was the facades, right? The front face of the cards. The next one was the actual prize cards itself, as you can see here, right? The facades I'm done with, the prize cards. And what I did was basically from the last bit of code with the facades, I just had some blank panels and basically took some pictures of those, cropped them, and brought them in. As you can see, it's not the best job of cropping. You know, there's still a little hint of color over there, but it's okay. I don't mind that at all. Right? There go your car facade. There go the vacation facade. All right. Let's take a look. Okay, this is for the trip. Of course, the black panel stays in the back. You have the in the vacation section, the green panel's in the middle because the facade is cream, right? And in the car one, the facade was green, so the mid panel was beige. You know what? This will be a very easy thing to switch back. Okay. Simple as that. Now, y'all might look at it and say, hey, you, Amari, you made a lot of different snippets of code. You know, you made a lot of different folders just to get this thing accomplished. It's really simple work, but it was tedious. But you know how it goes. When you have a love of what you're doing, it doesn't really seem like work. It kind of seems like fun, right? But anyway, those were the actual prize cards. There's not much to show you in the styles for that. Of course, I kept the background aqua again, just to help me crop these cards out. That is actual prize cards. And the last thing was to actually set up the wheel, finally. So with that, I have the 2 flags, the 2 cards, and the picture of the wheel. Now, this picture of the wheel was taken directly from the app. What I did was just made a display of none on the prizes, right? I made a display of none on the prizes and just took a picture of the wheel itself. And then I went to cropping, trying to make sure it was perfectly round. You can see there's still some little traces of white here. Evidently, it wasn't perfectly round when I refactored the app also, right? So it was a decent amount of things to be done. All right, moving on. When it comes to the final wheel image, right? It was all about setting up that wheel picture, right? And then basically superimposing my 2 cards on it. All right, just getting it in. It was very simple, of course. I had those 3 images just waiting, and it was really all about me just throwing those 3 images in and putting them in their proper place, right? So as you can see here, it's just 3 images in the body, nothing major at all. And then basically setting up for the wheels placement and the 2 cards placement. That was basically it. Okay, everything is set up now. I have 3 windows open, right? You know, my old school iPhone 7 SE mini screen, super small screen, right? Both in landscape and portrait mode. I believe that's what they're called. And of course, my full screen representing a laptop or such, right? Okay. Don't laugh at me, y'all, okay? It's gonna look like this in a second. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. But anyway, I have the decal for the car and the decal for the vacation, and I uploaded those into this site, even though I'm not going to use them for the wheel. The fact is that I have plans for those for later on, right? And here we go. We got the wheel, so let's commit that. Okay, so we could get these out of here, right? Assets, images, game data. I doubt I'll need the wheel segments data. Okay, I'll leave it there just in case. And ltswheel.png. That should be easy enough to remember. I shouldn't have to copy it. So let's close this bad boy down. Oh, you know what? What am I talking about? Close it down. The images on the index. The first thing I'm going to need to do is just get these things together, right? Okay, well, we had LTS car decal. You know what? Let's just call it the wheel. Why not? All right. Thank you very much. Okay, if anything, game page. All right, you know what? Before we even go any further, app CSS. Let's go to the wheel, right? Now prepare yourselves, everybody. All right. Now, with that being said, I'm sure you all can figure the amount of finagling that I had to do to get this wheel operational. And this is another reason why it's best to change the wheel into a full image instead of CSSing it up, you know. The fact is, like I told you all before, I made this app when I just finished learning React, and this is when I just basically had a decent grasp of coding. I was only coding for about a year at that time. So I had learned HTML and CSS before learning JavaScript, and then I learned React. I learned a little of JavaScript, not too much, and just enough to use React. And this wasn't only a test of me to work with React. This was a test of my web development skills up to that point. I tested myself to see if I could get this whole thing accomplished, and evidently I could have went to a Wheel of Fortune, you know, image on the web or something like that and try to copy the wheel, you know, just take a picture of the wheel and try to superimpose it on my site or something like that. But I wanted to be fully authentic. I wanted to get everything done myself. This was my personal test, like I said. So anyway, with all that being said, as you can see, once I take the overflow off from this wheel, then it's like, you know, everything else is out the door. As you can see, this segment is really a rectangle, right? Each segment is just a rectangle, but I have them. Oh, as a matter of fact, not only that, wheel segments, wheel, right? When you look here, you'll see that this is an unordered list, and each segment is a list item, right? Which should be another benefit of changing this into just an image, because with just an image, I figure it's going to be a lot less computing power to have every individual list item spinning around, making sure that you keep the overflow hidden, you know, with their individual sections within. Okay, so what I was really supposed to do, not wheel segments, but in the wheel is what we're going to be replacing, right? So what we want to do, instead of getting the data, the wheel segments data, what we're going to do is just import the wheel coming in. And we're going to need something like this. Okay. Okay, class name, if it is spinning, then it's called spinning, and if not, it's the wheel and the latest wheel number, which is this section here. And with that said and done, this unordered list could get out of here. By list. Let's make it prettier, just in case, right? With this wheel number use effect, the thing is that I'm setting up for what will be basically the standing position, what angle this is going to be on, right? This back in order. Well, looks funny, but that was my fault. Okay, so we got the wheel set up. They're going to set up the standing position, the current standing position, depending on what the wheel info is, because of course it's a computer, so it's going to run faster than the animation of the wheel turning. They're going to know, the computer will know where it's going to land on before it finally lands there, of course, right? Because you're picking something at random. You already know it instantly. It still got to go through the animation of spinning. So wherever it lands on has a particular angle associated with it. Okay, like say wheel 1, right? Is the degrees is 13.8 degrees and such, so on and so forth, right? So with wheel, right, aren't I finished with that? I'm just about done with that. I'm just about sure. So done with that, right? What did I say? I need to get to game page. Make some changes in game page. Okay, when it came to game page, as it turns out, all I really need to do is just change the timing, because it seems that the image, of course, has a different timing. I'm figuring there's a different basic size as well than the CSS that I made. And with those little changes in the timing, I think I'm pretty good with the game page. right? Let's test it out, something simple. Because right now, oh no, you're not even sitting right. You're supposed to start off on a 600 point. Okay, so evidently I got to deal with the CSS before I can even think of going any further, right? So what are we going to work on first, right? Because that's done. Wheel segments, I'm fine. I don't need this information. And it's down to the wire with the app CSS. You know how we do. You know how we do. So on wheel, right? You have a width, but you don't need a height. Right? Ooh, looking rounder already. Looking rounder already. And we no longer need the overflow of hidden. We no longer need the border radius. And seeing that it's all in the picture, even though that extra border on top of it doesn't look bad, it kind of looks like a little separation, like that last border is like the bottom of the wheel, you know? Like it's just like the cutout out of the floor where the wheel resides in, and the wheel well, as you might call it. I don't know, but y'all are like, yo, just take off the border, man, and stop playing around. There you go. There you go. All right, the border's taken off. Okay. Now, we said we gotta fix these primary degrees for these wheel sections, right? So there you go. 600 is looking pretty good now. Let me just have 26.7. Okay, and with all that done, wheel segment, we no longer need wheel segment, right? Wheel segment was part of that unordered list. And all the wheel segment parts. Segment content. The value and the prize was also part of that wheel. Right? Wheel. And okay, you got wheel segment, you have segment content, value, and prize. Spinning and wheel we get a key. So wheel segment, segment content, how about this? wheel segment. Okay, that's when it comes to smaller sections. Segment content was something that was in there too, right? Segment content. Value and prize. Right? Wheel and spinning. You don't need the border. And we don't need to go through calculations. Let's just leave it as one setting. You know what? Let's make it the width. Okay, so no more wheel segments in here. It seemed like segment content. No more segment contents. I think we should be good with value and prize too. No more things for value. Okay, player prizes, player name, that's the stuff at the bottom when it comes to the player situation. So prize, player prizes, prize. We don't need that anymore. And we're gonna let it automatically round itself out. Prize, player prizes. Okay. So we should be good on this. Let me just see segment. And then we could put this how it was after the changes, right? Just an image. Okay, nothing for segment either. Okay, okay, moving and pointer is the same thing. Okay. Is it necessary? Maybe I'm going overboard. Flex column, text align center. All right, my friends, that's looking like that's about it. Let's check out the game. Oh, that looks disgusting. And they made me lose my turn for it too. Get this out of here. Get this out of here. List out type none. Let's try this again. Okay. I'm glad to see it stopping where it's supposed to, but I'm not too happy that it was a bankrupt, but it's all right. It's time for monies. Oh, and a trip. Thank you very much. $3,000, a trip and some spending money. Okay, none the sound wants to play. It's all right. But that turned out okay for this screen size. Let's give this one a spin. It's looking okay so far, landing in the proper spots. Okay, new car and a trip to Jamaica. Okay. That one turned out quite all right as well. You know, the timing was fine. The wheel wasn't moving or shaping funny as it changed from stationary to moving. That looked quite all right. And you lost money with a bad guess. Horrible. My monies. Oh, my monies. Even though I ain't getting nothing for it, but it's all right. Okay. Oh, well. When the fireworks are coming up from the bottom, it allows it to scroll a little bit. Regardless of what, that is about it, my friends. That is about it. With this being as it is, right? Let's look and see what we got. Let's see what we got. Make everything fit on one viewport. Probably the most important one, but not yet completed. Patterns on the front page layout. No, I ended up making the front page layout basically full white instead of even having a little bit of color, but it's all right. Fixed prize boxes on the wheel. I would dare venture to say that that is completed. Change the font on the wheel's prizes. Yeah, I think the font looks a little bit better. So that is also that. Okay, just 2 more to go on Mr. Marcelo's list. But we got through another one, people. We got through another one. All right? Hey, listen, we're going to keep building. I hope that you continue to keep building with me. Right? Until next time, wishing you all the best. If you appreciate what we're doing over here, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. All right, y'all. Until next time, you know how it goes. Keep building.